Hello, my name is Denny, and this is my plant-based journey. Today we're going to be making marinara sauce. I love spaghetti, I love the Italian foods, and one of the things that I want to make sure that I enjoy while eating a plant-based diet is pasta and marinara sauce. So today we're going to look at a simple recipe, one that I think you'll enjoy. You know, most of the time we like to buy things that are simple and easy, and people will buy things like the Prego or the Ragu or different things like that. I typically make my own even before I became plant-based, but I wanted to show you a recipe that's very easy that you can use to make your own pasta sauce and enjoy. So we're going to get into that recipe right now. And let me know if you have any questions. Leave your comments below. I'll be glad to help you any way that I can. Let's start with a hot pan. We're going to be using this pan here, and we're going to use a little bit of water. And this water is going to help us in sauteing our vegetables. We're going to be sauteing some onions and garlic. This is about a medium onion. And I have chopped up about 3 small garlic cloves, and we're going to mince these and add them to our water here as it begins to saute these vegetables. Right now the onion and the garlic are beginning to saute, and it smells great in here. I probably put just a little bit too much water. You don't need much. And as it runs dry, you just add a little bit more water. But I'm going to saute these and get them ready to go. While the onions and garlic continue to saute, we're going to add our tomatoes and tomato puree to our large pot as we begin to heat up the entire mixture. So I'm going to start with some puree. This is Cinto, I believe that's the way you say it. And I looked on the ingredients, and all it is tomatoes. All right, as I added this first can, the onions and garlic are starting to dry up. I'm going to stir them around a little bit more. And I'm going to add about half a carton of mushrooms that I sliced up. I'm also going to add just a touch more water. Oh, that smells really good. I love mushrooms, and the onion, garlic, and mushroom combination is just so good. I'm going to let those cook down. I have one more can of the puree, but I'm also going to add 1 can of fire roasted crushed tomatoes. I usually use a spatula to clean out the cans as I go. Sometimes I'll add a little bit of water if there's some thick things at the bottom, but usually it's no big deal. So that's going to begin to cook. I have it on 3 on my stove. It will start to warm up. Okay, the onions, the mushrooms, the garlic are cooking down. And the mushrooms are starting to push out the water that's in them. As dry as they are, they become wet. You know, it's a pretty interesting thing that they do. So the vegetables here are looking really good. I really wish you could smell them. They smell so good. One thing that I like to do is add some seasonings while I'm cooking the vegetables. And typically I use oregano and basil, garlic. I've got the garlic in the pot. And today I went to the store to look for some fresh oregano and basil. They were out. The only thing they had was these little tubes that have an oil-based mixture in them. So I just went with what I already have in my cupboard, which is a mixture of Italian seasonings. And I'm just going to sprinkle some of this in with the mixture, then I'll add some to the sauce in just a moment. Similar to my previous recipe, I don't usually measure too much. I get a ballpark idea and I go from there, but if I was going to guess, I'd say I put a tablespoon of the seasonings there. I'm going to add just a touch more water. It's starting to cook down now. And I'm going to add 1 red bell pepper to the mixture. Now, I don't want the red bell peppers to cook very much, just a little bit to begin to soften them. And then I'll add this to the tomato sauce. All right, the vegetables have cooked to the consistency that I like them. The onions are translucent, the garlic is mixed in, the mushrooms are cooked down, and the bell peppers are just beginning to get warm. Again, I don't want them to turn to mush. I want them to keep a little bit of that crunch. I did want to heat them up a little bit though. So now I'm going to add them to the sauce. I'm going to move it to the front of the stove, and I already turned it down so that it won't bubble over or burn. And then once I have that added to the pot, I'm just going to stir it in and allow it to begin to cook into the sauces with the flavors that are in these vegetables. Now you could add green bell peppers, you could add more mushrooms. I love the bell pepper and mushrooms. My family, not so much. They like it a little bit, but not a lot. For me, I could have big chunks of vegetables all over my sauce. I like it, you know, sometimes you can order the marinara with the broccoli and the carrots and things along those lines. I enjoy that as well. But today, just a little bit of onion, a little bit of red bell pepper, mushrooms, and garlic added to tomatoes and fire roasted tomatoes. So I made a big pot because I plan to take it to work for the next couple of days, and I know I'm going to enjoy it. So I'm going to turn this down and let it cook slowly, and then I'm going to begin to make my pasta. So for tonight, I've decided to choose some whole grain, whole wheat spaghetti. I like all different kinds of pasta, but we're going to make spaghetti tonight. So I'll get this started. I'm just going to use water. I'll heat the pasta, get it hot, I'll strain it, and I'll be back with you in just a few minutes to show you what it looks like as an end product. One of the things that you can do to your recipe is add some red wine vinegar. I added a couple of tablespoons to this. It will give it a little bit of bite and a little bit of flavor. Some people use red wine. I don't use alcohol. I don't have wine in the house. But that red wine vinegar will give it a little bit of a kick. Sometimes people will add brown sugar to the mix. There's so many things you can do with marinara, but this is really simple. A few vegetables, a couple of cans of tomatoes, a can of roasted tomatoes, fire roasted tomatoes. Bring your water to a boil, add your pasta, stir it. 7 to 8 minutes is about how long it's going to take to cook. There's one pasta that I usually make occasionally that it takes about 10 to 12 minutes to cook, but you'll get it done. It'll be great. You'll add the two together and you're going to enjoy it. Okay, now that my noodles are boiling and the water is going good, I want to add a little bit more seasoning to my sauce. So I'm going to use a little bit more of this Italian seasoning from McCormick. And I'll just add a little bit across the top, not a lot, maybe 2 or 3 teaspoons, and then I'll mix that in. I'll taste it later on in the cooking process, and we'll see how it goes. I may adjust it from there. But I usually add some of these seasonings both with the onions and garlic and also again to the sauce. Try that and let me know what you think. So my spaghetti noodles are beginning to boil, and I'm going to watch it very carefully, because in just a moment it's going to start to want to boil over. And so what I'll do is I'll turn it down to low and let it cook those 7 to 8 minutes that I was talking about. I'm also going to make a second batch of the pasta so that I have plenty for the rest of the week. All right, my pasta's almost done. So I want to taste my marinara sauce and see what it does for me. Might want to add some things or change a little bit, but let's give it a try. That is good. I haven't added salt, and I really don't think it needs salt. If you want a little bit of salt, add some sea salt or whatever it is that you like. But this is really good. One thing I thought I might do is give you a little tip. Sometimes I see people cooking on YouTube or television, and they'll lean over the pot. Well, that's not a good thing. Right now this sauce is beginning to bubble. I see it popping up a little bit. It's splashed up on the pan a little bit. If you lean over and you get a face full of this burning hot pasta sauce, it's going to hurt. It's going to leave a mark. So one of the tips that I would recommend to you is, if you want to smell the sauce or anything else you're cooking on the stove, just hold your hand over it and bring the smell to you. It will smell just as good and you won't get hurt. That's a free tip. One of the things you can do to test if your pasta is done is to take a little bit out of the pan. Just try a little. If you like the consistency and you think it's good, then pull it off the stove, strain it, and get ready to go. If it needs a little more, you can leave it. You know, one of the things that you see all the time is just throw it against the wall, and if it sticks, then it's good. I don't usually throw spaghetti against the wall. I just taste it and enjoy it. And this is getting very close. I think it's about time. Okay, the pasta's just about done. So one of the things I'm going to recommend to you is to take a little bit of the water from your pasta and add that water to the sauce. It'll help to thicken it up. It'll help it stick to your noodles better. And you don't have to add much, just a little bit. Stir it in, and when you get ready, then it will just help with the consistency and how it sticks to your noodles. Now I'm going to strain the pasta, and I'm going to keep them separate. Now, a lot of times what people enjoy is mixing them all together, but I'm going to keep them separate. That way I can heat them up better later on this week and not have it where the pasta becomes gummy or anything along those lines. All right, so let me strain the pasta and we'll get back and take a taste test. All right, I'm going to dish up a bowl and give it a taste. A little bit of the whole wheat pasta, some of the homemade sauce, no sugar, no salt, no oil. Let's see how it goes. Let me grab a fork. That was a spoon. All right, time to get down to business. One last thing. Nutritional yeast. I'm going to put a little bit on top, and it'll act a little bit as cheese. If you haven't had it before, you might not think it tastes like cheese, but it gives you just that touch of something that helps you get that little bit of feeling. So let's give it a taste. It smells so good. I know it's hot. Very good. Very good. Let me say this. Do not add more sugar. This is plenty sweet. It tastes really good. I think it's probably the bell peppers bringing out some of that sweetness. You don't need any more. This tastes really good. Give this a try. I think you'll like it. Tell me what you think. Make your modifications and let me know what modifications you made. I look forward to your feedback. Enjoy the meal, And if you have any tips or tricks for me, let me know. I'll be glad to have them. I'll be able to answer your questions and share them in the next video. If you would like and subscribe, I appreciate it. Share it with your friends. And if I can help you in any way, let me know. Thank you so much. This is Denny, and this is my plant-based journey.